Hello, everybody. Welcome to Planet SkyFF, the world where everything revolves around £50,000. But it doesn't really, James.
No, it doesn't.
Neither of us can win the 50,000, especially me.
You look like you got pain on your face.
I fucked up my captains at the weekend. I only had 2 players, but here's the interesting thing, James.
Why did you only have 2 players?
I only had Saka and Kane. I didn't buy anybody else.
Oh, you left Wolves Leeds, did you?
Yeah.
Or did you have?
Oh no, sorry. I had Kilman.
Oh right, so yeah.
So I didn't have all
same difference.
But here's the interesting thing. Regular listeners will know each and every week, even when I make 4 transfers like I did the week before, my rank doesn't change. Even when I don't even set my captains properly and don't make any transfers, my rank didn't change. It's just pointless. I can do nothing and my rank won't change. I can do loads and my rank won't change. So I'm going to finish this season 4,500 in Sky. I can tell you, even if I use all my 21 transfers and even if I don't.
No, you can't finish there, Suj.
That's what's going to happen.
No, we can't allow you to finish.
Nah, I've got a new plan.
Oh, go on.
I've got a new plan.
Go on, you can share it?
Yeah. But I need some help understanding it as well.
Okay.
The new plan, James, is with my 21 transfers in hand.
Shut up, you've got 21 left.
I'm sure I've got 21. I am going to try and win a console of my choice.
Right.
April Manager of the Month.
Okay.
Is that a bad plan?
No, I think it's great.
Yeah, fine. Let's do it. So I need help, though.
Okay.
Firstly, how does it, like, with the match weeks, is it done on the game days in April or the match weeks that start in April?
No,
or what? So next weekend...
It'll be 1st of April to 30th of April.
Right, okay. So as of the first weekend, as soon as we're back, straight into those fixtures.
Yeah.
That's when I'm in all the way through until the Saturday the 30th.
Yeah.
Fine. Alrighty. And now that I know, I'm going to be buying loads of Newcastle.
Loads of Newcastle. That's your plan, is it? Well, not the only ones, mate.
Nah. So yeah, I think I'm going to do that, mate. I think I'm going to go for April Manager of the Month.
Okay. If you're going to try and do that,
of my choice.
Genuinely, have you got 21 transfers left?
Yeah.
Then you should probably...
I've also got 21 seconds to go.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
It's probably not enough.
Probably not, but let's try.
No, but I think you're probably wasting your time because there's probably people out there who probably saved for this. Because I said to a few people back at Overhaul, if you're going to do this and go for a Manager of the Month, I'd probably like leave your team dead and I'd save it for April. There's going to be kind of most jump around of fixtures and stuff. There's going to be people...
But the most people can use is 25 because there's 5 match weeks.
Yeah, but you've only got 21.
So there's only 4 transfers difference.
Because it's you, you'll make some shit transfers.
I probably will, but then I'll also fluke a couple of crazy captaincy. So that's my plan, James, anyway.
But maybe you'd be better off going for May.
But that's only like a few weeks.
No, not really. You've got, 35, 36, 37, 38. You're going to have all them midweek fixtures in 36. You're going to have a few in 37. Sunday the 1st of May is game week 35. And you could make 5 transfers on the Sunday there and then, couldn't you? The Sunday or the Monday. You got Man United on the Monday night against Brentford. And there won't be a lot of ownership for Manchester United at that stage till that night. I'd wait. With 21, I'd wait till May, I think.
Really?
Yeah. Sorry. Plus, you're going on holiday, right?
Yes.
So you're going to balls it up from the start, mate.
I'm just looking at May here. All Premier League fixtures. So, 1, 2... Yeah, so literally, I would only need to save 5, 10, 15, 20 transfers. I can still use one between now and May.
No, so think about it, right? Honestly, you'd use all 21 in May. Just genuinely, if that's what you want to do.
Alrighty.
I don't think you need all 21, maybe. But I think, yeah, if you're going for it now, in your situation, because I know there's going to be guys out there with 25 left going for it, I'd wait till May.
All right, let's wait till May.
I think most will go for it now. Then you've got something. Is that what you're going to do? You're going to leave your team dead till May?
Let's do it.
You just want something interesting at the end
21.
of the season, don't you? Fine,
yeah,
we'll do it in May.
Console of my choice.
You might as well piss off for the rest of this podcast. Then,
they're going to be so...
you're no use to
so
anyone.
Upset when I ask for a Sega Mega Drive.
A Game Boy.
A Neo Geo. Or one of the classic consoles from back in the day. Give me an N64.
I don't think they'll be that disappointed with
just
it.
go on eBay and buy one, wouldn't they?
So go on then. What did happen for you at the weekend?
Just Saka and Kane. That was it.
Well, at least you had 2 good captaincy returns,
Well,
mate.
2 players, but obviously nothing from Kilman, who's disappeared.
And
what about you?
How was it before that? Let's go back to last Wednesday. So we had Arsenal, Liverpool, and Brighton, Tottenham.
That's when I bought Saka.
So you bought Saka. What did you do? Did you captain Kane? I take it.
Yes. Yeah.
Obviously, Salah being sub meant that kind of everybody went that way, and it didn't particularly matter.
Yeah. I was going to captain Kane anyway. Actually, I made the decision that I was going to captain Kane anyway. And Salah being benched.
I was at Brighton, and I said this would possibly be a bit of a nightmare for me. I had busted on Kane. Obviously, I saw that Salah was on the bench for Liverpool and just went, okay, right, forget about it. Let's go to my seat, basically. So I think I'd decided and come to peace myself that I was going to go with Harry in any case. Did you have anything for Everton Newcastle?
Yeah, Willock. I bought Willock the week before, hadn't I?
2-pointer, I take it.
4-pointer, shot tier.
I did get shot tier, did he?
He got a shot tier, did Joseph Willock.
So I was going into Thursday night with Pickford and Fabian Schär. Very undecided in terms of which way I was going to go. I was probably going to go with Schär anyway, actually. Or, sorry, Fabian Schär.
Yeah.
And obviously Pickford was left out of the team, weren't he? Well, he had illness. And I was like, oh, God. So obviously just went with Schär. It was fine. I had the cover. Again, for the second game in a row, nil poir, basically, because of a very late... I mean, what was Iwobi's goal? 98, 99 or something?
Yeah.
Admittedly, the game was stopped for a very long period because of your man who tied himself to the post. So I missed out on some potentially decent differential points there with Schär as captaincy. And Friday comes round, and I'm sitting there with just Rafinha, and I. So the rumours had started late Thursday night that Rafinha was out. I was like, wow, what am I doing here? And Begovic had obviously played very well for Everton against Newcastle. So I'd come to peace. I was like, look, fingers crossed Rafinha plays. If he doesn't, I'm going to go and buy Jose Sarr. It's such a mistake. Such a massive mistake to have done that. I have a real problem with letting games go.
Okay.
Real problem. My argument to do it was... in the case of Wolves v Leeds, is like, well, don't skip it, because certainly in the Wolves case, you can cover that Friday night game with Newcastle versus Wolves. But it had to be a clean sheet for it to be worthwhile. Now, admittedly, you could say it's a little bit unlucky, because watching the game until Jimenez's red card, it looked a certainty. To be honest, you think, great, I put 18 points on the board. That in itself has made it worthwhile for the transfer. But of course, it fails and it flops. And I think this is something I need to reflect on in terms of my game management for next season, is letting games go. Whole of last season, and so far the whole of this season, I haven't missed a captaincy. Okay. Nothing. The only one I missed wasn't because I didn't have coverage for it, was the New Year's Day last year. I think it was New Year's Day, or roundabouts that time when City were due to play at Everton. And the game was called off at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and the deadline had already gone, and I'd captained KDB, I think.
Okay.
That's the only one that I've missed, not had coverage for, which was the same for many people that day. And I think I need to look at that and reassess and go, how much are you wasting by putting your time and effort into people like Fabian Schär? I moved for Fabian Schär from
he had a fixture
Max
game
Kilman.
as well as a captain.
Well, he did, and he still does, actually. I mean, you said right at the start about buying Newcastle players, probably. So, look, Fabian Schär is going to stay there for me at the moment. He's going to be my captaincy for the Newcastle Wolves game in a couple of weeks. Here's the thing, though. I'm planning at the moment to move Sarr on to Pope on the Wednesday night when, obviously, Burnley play Everton. It's going to be a popular move. Now, that's 2 days before the Wolves fixture against Newcastle. First question is, does that make sense? Well, yes, it probably does, because I've got Fabian Schär as cover. What do I do if something happens to Schär between now and then? I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm still going to go Sarr to Pope, and I'll buy another Newcastle player on that Friday night. Because exactly what you just said, I go, well, there's still massive gains here.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a problem in my game management style, that I just need to look at teams like Newcastle and Wolves and go, nah, Everton, sod this, and go, no. In the case of Nick Pope and getting him back in, which I think is going to be really popular, you got the Wednesday night captaincy. For many people, it will be the following Thursday night captaincy as well. There's against Southampton on a single game day. There's a case even to say captain him at Norwich on the Sunday. when City and Liverpool play each other. So that one you look at and go, yeah, definitely. Plus, it'll be monster owned again. But the others, is it ever worth it? I have a problem. I need to let fixtures go next season, I think. It's an issue I have. But I always look at it and go, well, if it works, bang, it's 18, 20 points on the board or something. Particularly like with jumping around goalkeepers and stuff. But it's a fault that I have. I look at some of the experienced managers, I look at them going, yeah, I've done well to skip that Friday night. Like, there's a lot of people that have gone into Friday night with, say, Rafinha and Kilman and not done anything. And those people will be quite happy. What did I get from Sarr? Like, literally 0, I think.
Was it?
They literally got nothing.
3? Wow.
Literally got nothing from him.
That's really frustrating.
So, look, it could be that he gets a clean sheet against Villa at a penalty save or something. You go, oh my God, lucky me, I've got an extra 15 points or something. But he probably needs that sort of thing now for it to be worth it before I move to Nick Pope on Wednesday the 6th. So are you just like not making transfers now?
I guess we've got a plan for May. So while I'm hoping, I don't know, when we know the 36, 37 fixtures and schedule.
It's a good point. The answer to your question is, I don't know.
Okay.
The Premier League website states that the fixtures for May, which obviously would excuse TV fixtures rather, which would obviously exclude Game Week 38, which they'll decide like in the days before because none of the games will move.
But it doesn't make a difference on 38 because they're all going to be played at the same time.
All play at the same time, it's fine. Yeah. It's just which games will be shown on the TV. So bar the final game week, the Premier League website says April the 4th. For May fixtures, which it's not going to be April the 4th,
okay.
Which is the Monday after. It's the same day Crystal Palace play Arsenal. There's no way they're going to announce it on that day. Like literally none, I don't think. They've been late for every single deadline this season. Every single one they've said this is this planned date. Every single one they've been late. I think what I don't know is if they'll just do the weekends. Now I think if they're just going to do the weekends, I think that's fine. They can go ahead and do the weekends, 36, 37. Even they could say, pencil in West Ham v Man City on Sunday, 4:30 in match week 37. And of course, if City reach the cup final, it'll obviously get moved. But I don't see how they can go ahead and do the midweek shout. Like we've spoken, obviously we discussed it again on Monday's pod. Things like if they announce the midweek fixtures now, they have to put Wolves and Manchester City into game week 37. They have to. Do they then have to put Chelsea versus Leicester in 36 and Chelsea v Leeds in 37? Does that open up the possibility of Chelsea v Man United moving forward from 37 to 35? I think that's extremely unlikely. But I think other than the obvious ones, like maybe it might be a smart idea because everyone keeps badgering them to like, set a date for the North London Derby, for example. I don't see how they can do the full midweek schedule like as early as they can. Really, to confirm the midweek matches, they need to wait till after the Champions League quarterfinals, and they need to wait till after the FA Cup semi-finals to have certainty in terms of, and at that point, we can have certainty in terms of how it's going to lay out. Now, just to cover a few things that I did discuss on that podcast on Monday for the non-FPL listeners, I think that Burnley versus Aston Villa is possibly going to go into the midweek of match week 34, which would be a week commencing Monday the 25th of April. Obviously, if that happens, it would almost certainly be a single game day fixture. And again, it's another one to throw onto Nick Pope if that is the possibility of what happens. Obviously, that sort of fixture is the sort of one we might get announced sort of at any time. The reason for believing that will be the case is Villa and Burnley are scheduled to play each other on the weekend of match week 36. Should they schedule the fixture into the midweek of 35, it means the two teams play each other twice in 3 or 4 days. Same applies if they put the fixture into 36, and the awkwardness about it is Villa now have a game to reschedule with Liverpool. I think that's most likely for the midweek of 36. And also, Villa are scheduled to play Palace in 37. That may need to get moved into the midweek following the FA Cup final. So it's not as straightforward as putting Burnley Villa into match week 37. No, they could. And the solution to that, Suj, would probably be that what we'd end up with is Crystal Palace versus Aston Villa being brought forward, but at really short notice, probably into the midweek of 35. That would be the sort of single game day that will give people a headache. I also think
Conor Gallagher will still be floating around a few.
Yes, it's very true, actually. He's still floating around in mine. Some people still have Coutinho. If you look at Jacob Ramsey's ownership, that's gone up massively, Jacob Ramsey. I think that's people have bought him in, gone in, right, he's my filler, he's my 11th, and that's going to allow me moves on sort of City, Liverpool, Chelsea to come in the coming weeks and stuff. I think if Chelsea lose to Real Madrid, they're almost certain to play in the midweek of match week 35, which is the midweek after. So that would probably be Wednesday the 4th of May or Thursday the 5th of May. And I think that most likely fixture would be away to Leeds. Now, there's nothing to panic about with that because there are obvious entry points coming up for Chelsea down the line, particularly with you've got the Arsenal fixture on Wednesday the 20th. Also currently scheduled to play West Ham on Sunday the 24th. That could get brought forward to the Saturday should Chelsea have to play on the Tuesday, the following midweek in the Champions League. But it does mean the following Sunday, they're due to play Everton away on Sunday the 1st of May. That one won't move. Unless, again, they have... Both the West Ham and Everton fixtures can't both move to the Saturday.
Right.
One might, but not both. Which means there will certainly be a Chelsea Sunday entry point if you want it before that single game day with Leeds. I imagine most people are going to have some Chelsea coverage long before then, in any case. Mr. Ian Parrin is joining us to cover for yourself next week.
Nice.
And me and Ian will have a look a bit more in terms of how we think, maybe even by day, how sort of 36 and 37 may plan out. I haven't discussed that with Ian yet. So, Ian, I know you'll be listening. Crack on, mate. We'll speak about it next week. Ian is a genius.
Nice. So, yeah, obviously, the good thing with Sky being that there's no price rises to worry about, the interlull ends up being a nice, simple place to take a breather away from it and plan. Is there anything else we need to cover off in terms of fixtures, in terms of getting off players and exit points?
Yeah, I think it's worth being aware. So, I mean, in my mind, and this is interesting, I've seen even like Dan Cox obviously won the game a few years ago. I've seen him comment on Twitter and say that he thinks of what's been announced so far for the April fixtures, he can see him getting to the end of that with still 6 transfers left and not even wanting to use them. I've currently, in my new schedule, still got 6 left. Now, I think things will get in the way of that. Injuries, etc., normally do. But in terms of plans for myself, I obviously cocked up, really, getting rid of Cancelo a few weeks ago. I decided to go against that. Now, if Trent's not fit for the Watford fixture on Saturday the 2nd, I probably will go straight sideways Trent to Cancelo that day. And because I know I'm going to want Cancelo back, so I might just look at that as my opportunity to do so. But there is a case to come off of the, let's say, the big three, City, Chelsea, Liverpool, after Saturday the 2nd. They all play that day. Chelsea have Brentford at home, City away to Burnley, Liverpool are at home to Watford. The case for doing so is follows. City and Liverpool play each other the following Sunday. And again, we've discussed the idea of could Nick Pope even cover your captaincy that day. There are other games now that day as well. Obviously, Brentford, West Ham and Leicester versus Crystal Palace have been pushed back to that Sunday, so you don't have to rely on the City-Liverpool assets for captaincy on that day. And then, of course, neither of those two teams play the weekend after. It's a similar story for Chelsea, who have Southampton away on Saturday the 9th. It's a decent fixture, but Harry Kane will cover you for the captaincy that day away to Aston Villa as well, and his ownership is now massive. I think it's the most owned now, Harry Kane, in the top 1,000.
93.6%.
Nice. So there is a case to jump off, and it's a case that you could jump onto any of the teams playing on Sunday the 3rd or Monday the 4th. So Sunday the 3rd, you've got West Ham against Everton.
Yeah.
You've got Tottenham against Newcastle. And on Monday the 4th, you've got Crystal Palace against Arsenal. And then even following that, I'm talking about going, obviously, as many, I think, will, Nick Pope on Wednesday the 6th against Everton. The reason there's a case for still going for those 6 teams that play on the Sunday and the Monday are, in the case of Tottenham, you've got good fixtures. Newcastle on a Sunday, Villa on a Saturday, then you've got Brighton on a Saturday. Literally, those 3 fixtures versus those other big clubs is 3 for 1. So I know there's like Sonny's ownership in the top 1,000 up to 20%. I think it will jump again. I think, again, people possibly got a little bit more wiggle room in transfers than they thought. And it might be worth just going with Sonny, I take him for the extra 3 fixtures and then decide it afterwards. Also, you've got people like Kulusevski offering decent value. You may want to punt a differential defender, a Doherty or a Reguilon, not normally Sky assets, but you might want to punt it at this sort of stage. Newcastle play Tottenham that day. Now, it is still the entry point if you've got no coverage, because they then play Wolves on that Friday night on the 8th, so that will arguably give you some captaincy coverage, particularly if you have no Wolves. Then they play Newcastle the following Sunday, Palace the following Wednesday. What did I say?
Newcastle.
Newcastle play Newcastle, do they?
Not possible.
Okay, that won't be the title of the podcast.
Leicester
on the Sunday.
Yeah.
And that Sunday is important because all you've got that day is Newcastle versus Leicester and West Ham versus Burnley. That Sunday's confirmed now.
We'll all have Nick Pope. What are you on about?
Is that what it's another Nick Pope captaincy, isn't it? Away to West Ham. Could be, actually.
Oh, man.
I mean, it really does add another layer to
I don't think
coverage.
so.
What?
I mean, if you had no other players, fine, but I don't think Pope's a good captaincy shout for that day.
But if it saves you 2 transfers going in and out or something.
Yeah, I get that.
In any case, I still think, as you said at the start, it's Leicester on the Sunday, it's Palace the Wednesday, then it's Norwich the Saturday, and then there's escape.
Yeah.
There's escape to players that you can go to the next day, or obviously if it's a budget option, maybe leave it. But it's worth saying after Newcastle play Norwich on Saturday the 23rd, their fixtures are rough. I think it's Liverpool and Manchester City and Arsenal, I want to say, are their 3 fixtures afterwards. In the case of West Ham, you've got Everton on the Sunday, you've got Brentford the following Sunday, and you've got Burnley the Sunday after that. Then there's a more difficult run of fixtures for West Ham as well. But there is a case, because of what you said, that Sunday the 17th, I mean, if you were going into Sunday 17th with Antonio or Pope, who do you captain?
Antonio.
Well, even if Pope's ownership, say, 85-90%.
West Ham has scored in every home league game this season.
Is that correct?
I'm pretty sure that's correct.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's correct. We scored in every home league game this season.
Why are you doing stats like this when you haven't played Arsenal at home yet? Why are you jinxing yourself, Serge? You haven't played Man City at home.
I'm just saying, you're looking at for a Pope clean sheet against a team that scored in every home game.
You ain't going to score again at home this season now, you've said that.
No, I know. And we've got Arsenal and City at home.
Is that right? You haven't blanked in any home game yet?
I'm very sure that's true.
That feels about right, I've got to be honest.
Yeah.
Check it out, but it probably does feel right, actually. So in any case, I think you can dive in on West Ham, like we said with Tottenham. You can dive in West Ham for the 3-for-1, and although it wouldn't give you a captaincy in the first 2, probably might be the best option come that 3rd game against Burnley. Then you can dive off for all the teams that are playing in the midweek if that's what you want to do. Everton, even again, if you were going for Everton on Saturday the 6th, surely you go for them. Wednesday the 6th against Burnley. Say you want to go for a Calvert-Lewin Richarlison. Surely you go Sunday the 3rd, because even in that case, you'll get 3-for-0 over many teams if you include Manchester United the following Saturday. So there's still a case to go for them. Palace and Arsenal. Palace, I think, less of an entry point. It's Arsenal on the Monday. Then you've got Leicester now is Sunday the 10th. Then they don't play again until Wednesday the 20th against Newcastle. But they do have some decent fixtures, Palace. Wednesday the 20th is Newcastle. Saturday 23rd is Leeds. Saturday the 30th is Southampton. So I'll probably hold Gallagher through.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going with it. And Arsenal you can still go on to. Definitely on Monday the 4th, even if you might feel like you've missed it, and that's possibly true, but you can come back to it. You've got Palace on the 4th, Brighton the 9th, then you've got Southampton the following Saturday, Chelsea on the Wednesday, United on the Saturday, and then they don't play till the following Sunday against West Ham. And I think at that point, after the United game, you can either decide whether you want to come off or whether you want to stay and hold them through. Arsenal do have a really nice last 3 fixtures. And obviously the Tottenham fixture will go in there as well. I do think there's a good chance the Tottenham-Arsenal game will be a single game day, but most people are going to stick on Harry Kane now, I think.
Yeah.
So there is a case on Saturday the 2nd that you can jump off of those clubs with the big 3. There's also a case to come off Villa and Leeds assets after Saturday the 2nd as well. So Villa play at Wolves Saturday the 2nd. Following Saturday is Tottenham at home, and the next fixture is not till Saturday the 23rd. So there are 3 4-for-1s in the middle there against Villa. And it's a similar story for Leeds, who play Southampton on Saturday the 2nd. Then it's Watford away Saturday the 9th. And again, they then don't play again till Crystal Palace away on Saturday the 23rd. and they've got a rough run of fixtures after that, which is Manchester City. It could well then be Chelsea after that. In the case of Wolves, you probably jump off the following Friday. You can go to any team but Newcastle following Friday the 8th if you own them, because then they don't play again till Sunday the 24th away to Burnley. And there are teams that, I think, to be honest, there are teams that play 4 games in between there. There are a couple. So Wolves should get binned after Friday the 8th. Interestingly, in terms of Villa and Leeds and coming off their assets, you could make a case rather than jumping off on the 2nd and getting the 3-for-1s. I've got Coutinho and Rafinha, and I'm looking at maybe moving them to 2 Leicester players on Sunday the 10th when Leicester play Crystal Palace at home. And then you go into that run of Leicester fixtures where they play Sunday the 10th, Sunday the 17th, Wednesday the 20th, Saturday the 23rd.
A lot of fixtures in a short period of time.
Exactly that. So, yeah. So I'm looking at holding that back an extra week and possibly attacking 2 Leicester assets on Sunday the 10th. So there are moves that can be made prior to these midweek bulk fixtures. In terms of targeting City, Liverpool, Chelsea as new, then you're looking really at that midweek of 33. The Liverpool obviously play United on the Tuesday. Chelsea and Manchester City respectively both play on the Wednesday.
You were mentioning Leicester there as where to go with assets. So we have not many questions in on Twitter today, but
Doesn't surprise me. Everyone's fallen asleep in this game.
Brian Packham says Tielemans has been a disaster. Really wish I'd gone for Maddison or Barnes, but Leicester coverage will be needed and down to 6 transfers. Would you switch him at this point or leave it for the end of the season and hope? So you mentioned 2 Leicester players. Do you know who they will be? Well,
in the plan at the moment, it's Barnes and Maddison. That's what I've got in the plan at the moment. The problem with Leicester is, and the reason I'd rather leave the decision late. I mean, you're not going to go and buy them for the Manchester United fixture on the Saturday, but the reason I didn't for the Brentford fixture gone was I want more information. By the time the Palace fixture comes round, I'll have an idea of whether they're still in or out of Europe, which might be quite important as well. And it might be if they're still in, I go, do I even want to bother with this? Is a possibility. So that's another reason why I think the Sunday there, I mean, to be honest, no, you won't know, will you? That's in between their 2 legs. So you could even make the case to wait the following Sunday. But in terms of me coming off, say, Rafinha, Coutinho, it needs to be for the Palace game. I can't wait that for the extra week to get further information. I think if you've got Tielemans, I think you stick with it, don't you?
I agree with you.
The sideways is... It's not on. I think the problem with him is he's going to go in the summer, isn't he? And it feels a little bit like how interested is he at the moment?
Down the clock.
Plus, clearly that football club at the moment is on course to try and win that European competition, isn't it? Which makes getting their assets difficult and tricky. I mean, we say there's possibly even 1 or 2 4-for-0s there. That Leicester entry on the Sunday against the Crystal Palace I think it's the 10th. Any Leicester player going to play 4 times?
No,
Probably
that's the
not.
other challenge in that period.
You've got even like defensively, like suddenly everyone's back fit.
Yeah.
Pereira, Castagne, James Justin, they're all back fit.
Is Fofana back fit?
Evans and Fofana are basically back fit as well.
thereabouts.
So that becomes really murky. So even like Suyunshu's been decent in Sky in the past. Is he even locked? Daniel Amarty's really cheap. You don't want to go there and suddenly he comes out of the team. And so I think, therefore, you would look at Maddison and Barnes as the explosive ones. Or, of course, Jamie Vardy if he's back. But, again, was Vardy going to play all them league games when they're focusing on Europe? He's probably not, is he? I mean, there is a case, even with the additional fixes, just go, no, that's a pain in the arse. I'm going to ignore that. But I think if you're on Tielemans, you stick.
Darren has all single game days covered and above average transfers. So would you wait till May's single game days are announced when people are running out of transfers to make gains? It's just inside the top 200, aiming for the top 50. You've just been through basically everywhere there's gains. So if you didn't learn from that, Darren,
well,
it
depends.
Really help.
So, like, if Darren's got no Leeds, no Villa, and knows that if he wanted to sell, say, a Liverpool, City, Chelsea asset, and knows he wants to get that player straight back in, then arguably, yeah, he should wait. It's very difficult, depending on knowing what's obviously in his team and who he wants to target at certain points. But there are definitely gains that you can have even right from the first Sunday when we come back.
We have a question from FPL Hambone. If Trent is out for Watford, however, the news yesterday was that it's not as bad as we thought it would be.
With the one benefit for Sky is we will see the team. So you will know.
If Trent is out, the actual question is it time to switch to VVD?
It's one way of doing it. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at maybe moving it to Cancelo. Most of the listeners will probably still have Cancelo. So therefore, yeah, definitely a consideration. I think that's fine.
Dave, Simple Goal, who's flying high probably still. I'm not sure where he is, but I'm sure he's top 20 odd. If you had to overhaul now, what would your teams be?
Ugh.
And he says, Suj first. So, James, you ready for it? Let me put up my team for you. My team would be Kane, Salah, Cancelo, Saka, Trent, Ramsey, Laporte, Ramsdale, Rafinha, Kilman, VVD. I think that's about 11 players.
No, it wouldn't.
Couldn't afford them.
What Suj has just done is he's picked the most owned players in the top
11
1,000.
most owned players in the game. I could afford that, surely.
If you were overhauling again now, I think Nick Pope would probably be in 100% of teams. I feel. I really think the movement to him will be quite large, actually. Larger than I wouldn't be surprised if he's near Kane ownership levels, actually.
Mad.
Despite the fact there are other good goalkeeping options, there are plenty knocking about. I mean, you could make a case that Sunday the 10th would be a great time to go in on someone like Kasper Schmeichel, maybe. Schmeichel regularly makes save-tier saves. Admittedly, they're not great for clean sheets. But there's always the scope with Schmeichel that if one does drop, it's an 11 or 12-pointer. And he's at least nailed, if you will, in the Leicester team, whereas many of the other assets aren't. But I just think with Pope, I mean, arguably, if you're not going Newcastle or Leicester, you may end up captaining him for that West Ham fixture on that Sunday as well. And then there's a case to say you might even captain 4 consecutive games, which sounds ridiculous. But if he gets 3 clean sheets in that period, it's monstrous as a differential versus other goalkeepers, isn't it? So I really think it'd be a big move for him. If he was overhauling, he'd definitely be in. I think if I was overhauling now, I would definitely have Kane and Son. I'd arguably have Kulusevski as well. What I'd be doing is looking to set up to go, probably start with arguably no Liverpool, City, Chelsea, other than I would want Salah if he's in the team against Watford as a captaincy. And then set up to come back to all of those guys on the Wednesday. So it'd arguably leaving quite a lot of money in the bank and gambling quite a lot on possibly even Tottenham, maybe even West Ham for the first few weeks, and then looking at making transfers from there on. It'd be interesting to tell you, if we were overhauling now, there'd be bigger splits of what people were doing, I think. Other than everyone would have the same goalkeeper.
Stian says that he's got a mate who's got a cabin in Donegal.
That's
and
nice.
has offered it to us for Euro 2028.
Oh, yeah. Well,
So, Stian, thank you for dropping that. It's got completely no relevance to Sky whatsoever, but you know,
I noticed
as a regular listener, crack on.
our friend Andy,
Let's have it.
Andy from Let's Talk FPL was tweeting about the idea of the Aviva having the final. Yeah, I don't think so.
No, money will talk. Last question of the show goes to Dan, the FPL fan. Will you miss us, Suj? We'll miss you. You'll miss the Who. Yeah, I think. I'm going to have the pods that James is recording while I'm away in my ear holes, or I'm sitting on the beach. Mrs. will read a book, and the kids can, I don't know, throw rocks in the sea or whatever kids do. So, yes, I will. And maybe even I'll plan for my console winning push in May.
Well, at least we have some fun to talk about.
Well, yeah, I'm going to be doing whatever you tell me to do, let's be honest.
Before we finish, just one point I want to make on you'd read out the top players with ownership.
100%. The top 1,000%
Yeah.
ownership. Yes,
Nicked from Frank's site, FF Stuff. Shout out Frank as ever. There's been a lot of talk of how Sky is sitting still at the moment, and you've spoken about it a lot. You're stuck at your rank and stuff. When I look at these ownership numbers, it tells me that this is about to change, and the gains are coming for people who are brave here. So basically, Kane and Salah, in terms of your front lines, both owned by 93% of teams. Now, I think A few people may even come off Salah after the Watford fixture. If he's not in the team, I think people might even come off him that day. And I might do so myself as well to go, well, actually, yeah, I'll go Salah to Van Dijk and Trent to Cancelo or something like that and really switch it up and gamble with going against Mo Salah for a little period, possibly till they play Everton, especially if that fixture stayed on a Sunday, and gamble with going against. Kane stays, obviously, but then there'll be a little bit of a case of coming off Harry Kane or after the Brighton fixture. And again, depending on the Champions League semi-final dates, Tottenham's fixture with Brentford the following Saturday could move to a Sunday. So again, there'll be a few teams who've got 2-3 games in the middle of Kane's fixtures with Brighton, Brentford. There's a case possibly to dip on and off, or a case of coming off and gambling against. In terms of ownership above 50%, Cancelo's obviously still popular, 78% of teams. Saka's shot right up, 64%. I don't own him at the moment. Whether I go and fix that on Monday the 4th, I'd say possibly debatable, but it's one I might look at in terms of, again, possibly even coming off Salah, gambling against it for a little bit. How many games has Saka got between Liverpool playing Watford on Saturday the 2nd, Suj, and the scheduled Everton fixture?
Between Liverpool playing Watford and
Liverpool playing Everton.
And Liverpool in that time only have City and United.
Yeah, how many
Saka
Arsenal
has
fixtures?
5 games, James. Crystal Palace away, Brighton at home, Southampton away, Chelsea away, United at home. But still 5 for 2. 5 for 2 difficult fixtures as well.
Arguably, I mean, to be honest, his ownership has gone up enough that I think if you get him in, you'd probably captain him against Palace. Yeah. So there's at least one captain in there. It's worth saying again, remember that Liverpool-Everton fixture can move back to the Saturday, and there's no way of knowing. That's dependent on whether Liverpool would play on the Tuesday or Wednesday in the Champions League. Of course, should they lose to Benfica, the game obviously would stay on a Sunday. Trent's ownership, 57%. Now that's possibly going to take a dive further if he's not back for the Watford game. Jacob Ramsey's he's in half the teams now. Again, I think that's acting as a facilitator. Laporte's in 51% of teams. Again, there's a case possibly to come off Saturday the 2nd. So a template's moving. There has been some movement, partially because of this blank weekend that's gone. And as we've said, there are a lot of teams that you can potentially come off of after Saturday the 2nd. Plus, you've got players like Trent and Mo Salah, who, subject to whether they're in the team or not, you may want to come off as well. So it's time now. The time is coming where I think these gains can be made now. Good.
Get your prep ready. If you want access to James's planner, which is an Excel spreadsheet which breaks down fixtures by game, as in FPL, Sky, Matchdays, game weeks, fixture difficulty ranking, all sorts of stuff, then you might want to consider joining Patreon, patreon.com/Planet FPL. Our Slack community of Sky managers is very active and a lot of good ones in there too, all willing to help. So, if you want to do that, then head over to patreon.com/Planet FPL. COTC tomorrow?
Yes, Tottenham versus Newcastle with Ricky Saunders and Simon Bibby. There'll be 2 more the following week. Jack Toner and Sean Norton, Burnley, Everton, and Sam Murray, Mark Hammond, Brighton versus Norwich. And we've got Johnny Pringle and Dan Lord booked in for the Monday after that, ahead of Man City and Liverpool that week. The big one, the title clash. Mr. Ian Parrin will be making his Sky Fantasy Football debut next Wednesday. If you want 2 people with a proper brain, no offence, mate. Nah. Join me next Wednesday with Ian.
More brains, less hair. That's going to be the title next episode. Stay safe. Ciao for now.
Good luck, everyone. Cue music, please, man, child.